No, I love it. This guy, I love everything he's been saying. You know, he's definitely sounds overconfident. He's out here disrespecting legends like Dustin Poirier. I'm gonna dog walk this English on Saturday. You watch.
Well, Dustin's never got a nice word to say about me, lad. So, what I was honest and said he looked like shit against Gaethje. F***ing hell, stop f***ing trying, you can't get
That wasn't even the fight you were talking about. You said his last fight.
Which? No, I'm saying Dustin looked like shit against Holloway. That was what I said.
He would also look like shit against Holloway.
Well, we'll see. Once I beat you, I could end up fighting him.
Well, you won't be fighting him.
Joe Rogan has weighed in on the growing tension surrounding Paddy Pimblett and Justin Gaethje, and behind the scenes this matchup is starting to feel far more personal than anyone expected. While nothing has officially boiled over yet, the tension is unmistakable. In recent weeks, the narrative around this fight has quietly shifted. What once seemed like a straightforward prospect versus veteran matchup has turned into a pressure-filled situation where both men have something major at stake. Paddy Pimblett knows this is the biggest opportunity of his career, the moment where hype either becomes legitimate or collapses completely. Justin Gaethje understands this is the kind of fight that can unravel everything he's built if he underestimates the wrong opponent.
I mean, the sport of MMA is so incredibly evolved. I would not have thought that Max Holloway standing with Justin Gaethje would have been a prosperous idea. And I know that that was popular opinion. The majority of you were with me at that time. And it wasn't just who was a better boxer or the X's and O's, it also had to do with a size factor. Max being a 45-pounder, moving up to Gaethje, a big 55-pounder. I mean, I'm just sharing for you. We don't know as much as we think. And it feels like every Saturday we get reminded of that, but then when the weekdays, right? Every weekend we get reminded of that, and then during the weekdays we completely forget it. I don't know that I think that Paddy's weird. I don't know that he has a style with his takedowns or on the ground that is wildly unique. He's really good. He's really good at what he does. But is he strange? Is he awkward? Is that something that Gaethje has to deal with just by example? Does Gaethje have to worry about getting into shape and getting down to weight and getting his left and right hand sharp and stretching his body and sleeping well and knowing how to do jiu-jitsu and sharpening up his double and his takedown, and he's got to deal with this guy that's really awkward and weird? I don't think so. I don't see it that way. Can Paddy strike with Justin? Probably. We don't have evidence of that. Like we don't have some great fight or two or three that ended up stand-up battles that Paddy ended up winning or dominating, but there is times in fights when something happens that you didn't expect would happen. That's where things can unravel very quickly. Maybe you're not overly confident you can win the fight, but you do believe that you can get a takedown when you need one. And you go out there and all of a sudden this guy who's not known for great wrestling or not known for great takedown defense, all of a sudden he's stopping your best attacks. And now you're stuck on your feet, which is not what you envisioned happening. And I have seen moments of rounds, I've even seen entire rounds, where at the conclusion the judges have gone against Paddy and they were largely stand-up battles. However, right, I mean, the Gordon fight just comes to mind. We're getting a takedown was at a premium. Find out that Paddy's got a hurt knee, but that's all subsequent. It doesn't change the fact that takedowns were at a premium. It doesn't change the fact that Paddy thought he could go out and get on top of a guy, and it didn't happen, and he ends up stuck on his feet, and you, the viewers, saw him having a hard time.
Pressure off the front kick and then pressure with like a variety of kicks that do a little bit more damage there. And that to me is the way that's going to work. And then once his hands are down, or it's a little bit later in the fight, or he's injured or whatever, he just doesn't move as much. Then you launch into your takedowns, level change, clinch your way in, whatever the setup ends up being, where he can't move and is therefore just not able to have the same kind of, diligent defense that would be necessary to thwart that kind of attack. I think that's what you're going to see from Paddy, if in fact he is successful. But if he's not, part of that is how you maintain range. And if you don't maintain range well, like I've seen I've seen kickboxing instructors be like, you should only throw kicks if they're neutral or you're moving forward, not if they're pressuring into you. But Paddy has gotten away from that at times. Could that cost him here? You know, that's one coach's rule. I'm not saying every coach is quite like that, but you get the idea. Like how you manage that range, you will live or die based on that. It's just I tend to think that's the most important part of it.
So just going back to Justin Gaethje's grappling, he's kind of neglected that part of his game for a while now, but he does have a pedigree in wrestling, NCAA. I think he placed 7th in 2010 in one of the divisions. His takedown defense is still decent, but it's going to be, you know, Paddy Pimblett trying to get his back, catch him in transition. How much of an improvement, or how much do you think he can prepare for something like that, sort of not really paying that much attention to that part of his game over this camp? Do you think him and Trevor Whitman are going to be able to put some stuff together where if they do end up in that position, they're going to be able to get out of there safely? Or do you think this is a part of a game that needs to be nourished and worked on for longer than just a training camp to really be able to survive against such a dangerous grappler like Paddy Pimblett?
Yeah, I mean, if it was as easy as just doing it very late in your career, then they would just do it that way, but it's not, you know? Like, for folks who don't know, if you place inside the top 8 in your respective weight class, the national championships in the United States, that is considered All-American. You have to get some...
I do boxing classes, wrestling classes, because when the training camp comes, I try to mix it up and polish everything that I have been able to learn, everything that worked for me in wrestling and boxing. I want to develop all the time my knowledge. I want to get better all the time, and I can get better if I only go and train MMA. I need to learn new technique. Like in BJJ, you never end up learning. One thing is what you know, and the other is what you do with what you know.
Could be next for Ilya. Who should be next for Ilya? 55 has always been so cloudy at the top. Maybe Gaethje. I think him going to 170 to fight Islam, if Islam wins, is a stretch, you know. Islam's big, man. I've never seen Ilya in person, but he seems smaller. I know obviously he can knock anyone out. I do think if they fight, Ilya can knock anybody out from 45 to 170. He has the skills, the power, the technique, and but we've just never seen him in there with somebody that big and somebody with that caliber of wrestling. But I think he should defend the 55 title a few times before that's talked about. We'll see.
Rogan has hinted that the energy surrounding this fight feels different, not playful, not promotional, but tense. And that makes sense. Justin Gaethje has built his reputation on breaking fighters who try to be brave against him. He punishes mistakes, destroys legs, and drags opponents into deep, painful waters. But lately, people inside the MMA world have been asking a dangerous question. What happens if Paddy Pimblett refuses to play Gaethje's game? Paddy isn't chasing a kickboxing war. His hunting moment scrambles, chaos, awkward transitions, situations where instinct matters more than technique. And that's exactly why this matchup has analysts split. Gaethje is most dangerous when fights stay structured. Paddy is most dangerous when structure disappears. That clash of philosophies is where this fight turns unpredictable. There's also the mental side. Paddy has been vocal about feeling disrespected, brushed aside as a gimmick, treated like a sideshow rather than a real threat.
No, I love it. This guy, I love everything he's been saying. You know, he definitely sounds overconfident. He's out here disrespecting legends like Justin Poirier. I'm gonna dog walk this English on Saturday. You watch.
Dustin's never got a nice word to say about me, lad. So, I was honest and said he looked like shit against Gaethje. F***ing hell, stop f***ing crying, you can't get
That wasn't even the fight you were talking about. You said his last fight.
Which? No, I'm saying Dustin looked like shit against Holloway. That was what I said.
You would also look like shit against Holloway.
Well, we'll see. Once I beat you, I could end up fighting him.
Well, you won't be fighting him.
Versus Justin Gaethje, what's your prediction?
I see myself finishing him in under 3 rounds, more than 2 minutes on the floor. Me get submitted, but I want to knock him out.
Do Paddy. I guess Paddy been on a hot streak right now.
Man, I feel like it's Paddy's time. I hate saying it, but it is. He's a scouser. He doesn't get knocked out.
Paddy Pimblett. He's got a good style, great submissions from the UK.
I see Paddy can get a submission.
Justin Gaethje will win the fight. He has very good hand. He has more experience.
I'm closer to Paddy, so I do think he's going to beat him up.
I would love to see Justin Gaethje get strapped up with the belt.
I'm going to finish him. Taking him to the 4th and 5th round. He's going to be exhausted. He's human. He has a break. I'm going to shake.
See rumors of Justin Gaethje having staph on his neck?
Yeah, I've seen it. It's one of them. What are we meant to do? You know what I mean? If he's got staph, lad, he's got staph. Doesn't matter if he's got staph or not, I'm still going to smash his head in. But there's lads in our gym who fought with staff lad and knock people out in the first round, so it doesn't affect you that bad. But that'll be another excuse for everyone when I win. That'll be like, oh, Justin Gaethje had staff as well, you know what I mean? So it's one of them. I get on with it. I'm going to be turning up in the cage, and all that matters is if I turn up, nobody beats me. I expect a war, obviously. Like, Justin Gaethje is one of my favourite fighters to watch. He's your favourite fighter's favourite fighter, and it's going to be a pleasure to get in there with him. I'd love to have a brawl for 5 rounds. As he said, him versus Michael Johnson, how he introduced himself to the UFC. I'd love to have a fight like that, but I don't think it'll pan out that way, but let's see what happens. Hopefully, I'm getting a performance bonus and a fight of the night bonus.
January 24th, UFC 324. First pay-per-view back, and 2 guys that you fought, Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, Justin Gaethje. What do you think is going to be the biggest X factor for the winner of that fight?
Great question. I will be in attendance. 2 guys that I respect a ton. I've loved watching Paddy rise and even fighting him, obviously having a ton of respect for him. Gaethje, fight of the year 2021 or 2022. We shared the octagon together. Paddy is better than everybody thinks. Paddy is better than you think, the entire media thinks, the entire world thinks. He's better than the entire MMA landscape thinks. With that being said, Justin Gaethje is always game. Justin Gaethje always shows up, and Justin Gaethje is always violent and dangerous. It's a pick'em fight for me. I do think Gaethje is going to look across the octagon, see a guy that he should beat, but he's not as easy to beat as he thinks.
And fighters like Paddy don't respond to that kind of treatment by shrinking, they respond by taking risks. The kind of risks that either end careers or create stars overnight. Justin Gaethje, on the other hand, has heard this story before. A rising name, a big personality, dangerous on the ground, and every time, he's welcomed them with violence. But even Gaethje has admitted in the past that grappling heavy chaos is where fights can slip away from him if he's careless. That's exactly where this matchup becomes dangerous.